And hello, South Florida. Welcome to another live edition of the Real Estate Show locally here in your marketplace. Hello. Welcome to the rest of the real estate world out there listening to us on all of the mediums that we have. You know, we're here live Monday through Friday, the Real Estate Show here, celebrating its 22nd plus year on the air, uninterrupted. Through good times and through bad times, and 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. 5 p.m. is the time to tune in if you want to catch us live. And there's 5 different options that you can listen to us. You can listen to us live on our original AM 1470, part of the Money Talk Radio Network, WWNN. You can listen to us on the FM dial at 95.3, 96.9. You can listen to us on the apps, any one of the free apps. All you have to do is search on iHeartRadio, the TuneIn app, which, by the way, has a nice little alarm reminder when our show is live. You've got the radio.com. Even WWNN has their own proprietary app. But all you have to do is search for WWNN Money Talk Radio 1470, and any of those apps will get you there. And that's the third way. 4th way is on our website at automaticlandlord.com. Yes, we do stream it live on our website. So just drop on by to our website at www.automaticlandlord.com. Go to the top of the page where it says The Real Estate Show. Click on the drop down. It'll say listen live if you're there at 5. Or you can listen on demand to any of our past shows. It takes about 24 to 48 hours before the write-ups and the links are put up there. But in each one of the radio show notes on that date is a link to the entire uninterrupted recording of the show that you can listen to it. And at the same time, you can also download the podcast version and take it offline and listen to it on planes, trains, or anywhere you want to go, again, at your convenience. And finally, not only can you listen, but you can watch us on our Facebook page. And you don't need to have a Facebook page. All you have to do is go to facebook.com/The Real Estate Show. No spaces, no hyphens, nowhere. The Real Estate Show. And you can listen to our show. Again, recorded. They're recorded as we do them live at 5 every day on Facebook. And then they stay there recorded for your convenience. So we had a great week this week. You know, we've been talking about loans. We've been talking about the moratoriums. We've been talking about all sorts of things. You know, we start the show Mondays with our mission for the week. And Tuesdays, we get into sort of the actionable nitty gritty stuff. So we go from concept to application, from strategy to tactics. Then Wednesday, our midweek report. Then we kind of bring it all down into the reality within the actual marketplace. So there you go. Tuesday, actionable stuff that you can do within the actual market that we're in. So these are time-dated, time-sensitive, time-appropriate tips that you learn here on the Real Estate Show. So whether you're buying your first house or your 21st house, this is the place that you definitely want to tune into. Now, Thursdays, we talk about the money. And yesterday, we were talking about how important it is to have options, have multiple options in terms of finances. Don't paint yourself into a corner with only one option. If you're in the camp of foreclosures or forbearance, if any of those words mean anything to you, then I gave out a code word, a text word. You text the word loan to our number, which is 561-861-2366. That's 561-861-2366. Text the word loan so we can have a discussion. It'll prompt you for some additional information and the opportunity also on our website at automaticlandlord.com. You can go directly there and set up a confidential, no cost, no obligation appointment. Just go to automaticlandlord.com, or again, The Real Estate Show on Facebook. And you can also set an appointment there for a nice conversation, an education, if you will. Because I promise you, there's no obligation, but there is a benefit to that phone call. You will learn quite a bit. And here's what I think removes a lot of stress for people is knowing what your options are, and just as important, what they're not. So take advantage of us. Automaticlandlord.com, one way to set an appointment. The Real Estate Show on Facebook is another opportunity, or text the word loan, LOAN, to 561-861-2366. Well, so Thursday was the ATM edition. And what's today? Today is our TGIF edition. Why did I say TGIF 3 times? Thank God it's Friday. Of course, you all know that one. Thank God it's Florida. Lucky that, we're almost back to normal. Business is mostly open. And fingers crossed that this Delta virus, this Delta variant, doesn't set everybody back. I know the numbers sound like they're increasing. I'm hoping that that's just a summertime thing, that, the market is hot, the real estate is hot, the temperature is hot in the summertime. I just hope that the Delta virus doesn't get hot either. But obviously, you got to be careful out there. So what I wanted to talk about today, as we kind of wrap up the week, if you will, number one is I wanted to talk a little bit about the options that we were talking about before. I also wanted to talk about a very important new development. We started talking about the different financing options, and by the way, if you missed that show, it was very informative, and it'll definitely give you some ideas of things that you can do. Go listen to yesterday's show again at automaticlandlord.com, or right here on our Facebook page. Just go to yesterday's show. That's already up there. That one I know for sure, because I post them right after. As soon as we finish recording the Facebook Live, I go ahead and hit share, and Facebook does its things and then loads it right up, and it's there. But there was a mortgage refinance fee that was instituted during the pandemic, which has now been dropped. And I haven't heard anybody else talking about this, but this is important because it's lowering the costs for borrowers. Again, you want this information? Text the word loan, because we've been talking this week about whether it's a good time to refinance, or something else that you won't hear anywhere else. Is it a good time to recast your loan? And that's something that we've kind of sort of pioneered in showing borrowers how to recast their loan and make their effective interest rate go down. That's right. I can actually show you how to take an existing mortgage, recast the loan, and lower your effective interest rate. And I can show it to you in black and white. If you want a free analysis on how we do that on your loan, again, text the word loan, LOAN, text it to 561-861-2366. Anyway, Fannie Mae, big agency out there, right? A lot of the market depends on what Fannie Mae says. Freddie Mac, they got together, and they're dropping a fee on mortgage refinances that was instituted during the pandemic. And that was an announcement made today by the Federal Housing Finance Agency. Now, what they were doing is that they were charging, now remember, they're the secondary market. They purchase the loans from the banks that make the loans. And they were charging lenders a 50 basis point fee for all loans they delivered to the two mortgage giants. In other words, if you wanted to sell it to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which the banks need to in order to create the liquidity to make more loans and make more fees on the new loans that they make. 50 basis points, for those of you non-financial techies out there, is 0.5%. There's 100 basis points in 1%. 50 basis points is 0.5%. And so every loan was 0.5% more expensive up until now. And so who is dropping that fee and passing that on to the customers? Well, don't you want to know? Text the word loan, 561-861-2366. I can't go down the whole list, but they are dropping a fee on mortgage refinances. Now understand, refinances that were instituted during the pandemic, lowering costs for borrowers. And they were charging these lender fees, the 50 basis points, designed to cover losses projected as a result of the pandemic. And again, as we were just saying here on the show, if the pandemic is starting to wind down, not just the moratorium winding down, not just the stimulus and the fees winding down, but even the cost of financing and the risk of the adverse effects of the pandemic. So if they now, and they're basically giving you another signal, saying that they feel that the biggest risk of loss is now behind them. So we can now drop that fee on future loans. And so here's a quote in the article: the COVID-19 pandemic financially exacerbated America's affordable housing crisis. In other words, they made it worse, right? Eliminating the adverse market refinance fee. You like that one? The adverse market refinance fee is going to help families take advantage of the new low rate environment and save more money doing so. Put more Americans, remember our mission here is to help enable, educate, and empower more of our listeners to have a piece of the American dream so that more people are in real estate as opposed to only being on real estate. Now, that was a quote, by the way, from the Federal Housing Agency director, Sandra Thompson, and they are who oversees. She's the FHFA director is who oversees Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So today's action furthers FHFA's priority of supporting affordable housing, which is an issue, while simultaneously protecting the safety and soundness of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Also important. So as he said later on in the article, Santa Claus has come early for homeowners looking to refinance their mortgages. And like I said, this is the time right now. Interest rates came down again last week. This is the time to get a good, sound, black and white analysis on whether is it now the right time to refinance or to recast. And here's another thing that, maybe it's worth mentioning. Refinancing always has costs, okay? There's no such thing as a cost-free refinance. You hear people talk about no cost out of your pocket, but that is just a way of deferring your expenses in or building them into the loan so that you don't feel them out of your pocket right now. But now you're going to pay interest on interest on interest. Having this savings is key, but saving it all together is a possibility. And that's why we talk about recasting loans. And as I mentioned yesterday, recasting was very popular back in the early 2000s. And it was actually made very commonplace back in 2000 because you had these multiple option payment mortgages that existed, and they gave you those options for a certain period of time, 5 or 10 years. And at the end of that period, then what they did is they automatically recast the loan based on how far you came in making payments, because there were options to pay just the interest, pay principal and interest as if it was a 30-year loan, pay principal and interest as if it was a 15-year loan, or even to make just a minimum payment, which might not even have covered all of the interest. Well, those loans don't exist today, but that was why it was very common, because after that period of time of the optional, payment options, then your loan would then go to a regular 30-year fixed loan for the remainder of the loan, but they would recast it based on the remaining amount of time, the remaining balance, and the then interest rate. And there were two flavors even at the time. You could lock it into a fixed rate for the remainder of the period, or you could continue to allow it to be an adjustable rate during that time, in which case, that would have been a good bet, probably a scary one when you were looking at the mortgage crisis of 2007 and 2008. But in the end, interest rates went low, then lower, then lower. So those people who took the leap of faith and kept adjustable rate mortgages for the last 10, 15 years have been rewarded for that leap of faith. But so now you have the opportunity. The banks are not going to tell you about this. The banks are not even going to help you to do this. We will, and that's why we want you to know that all you have to do, if you want to learn how to do that, if you want to find out whether recasting your loan makes sense, and it doesn't matter whether you have good credit, bad credit. In fact, for all of you out there that are on forbearance right now, you can't refinance, right? You're not going to be allowed. You might hope for. There's a couple of the options which we talked about earlier last week. What are your options to get yourself out of forbearance? Refinancing is probably, if you haven't made any payments in the last 90 days, the opportunity to refinance is probably not there. However, I don't care about credit. I don't care about credit scores. I don't care even about whether you show your income on taxes. I'll show you how you can get your loan recast without any of those concerns, even for those people who are not making payments in their loans in forbearance. And this is a way for you to get back on track and in good stead and keep your home. So once again, text the word loan to 561-861-2366. I'm going to show you the analysis. This is actually a $250 during normal markets. That's what they charge for this analysis to run these numbers. And it's a very sophisticated analysis. There's going to be no charge, but I'm not going to do this forever. I'm doing this now during the forbearance. There's no obligation. You can get the numbers, look at it. We'll have an intelligent, honest, and confidential conversation. And from there, you'll make your decision, but you're going to know a lot more just from doing that. Again, text the word loan, 561-861-2366. We went kind of long, but we still owe a little break here. We're going to take a quick word here, a few words from our sponsors. Don't touch that dial. I got a lot more for you here in our TGIF edition of the Real Estate Show. So don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Look, we got a full house here Friday. Happy hour it is here. Happy half hour anyway on our radio show. Hey, Cindy, how are you? Susanna, how are you? Andres, how are you? And I'm gonna take a shot at it. Is it Haula? Haula, is that the right pronunciation? Very good one again today, says Susanna. Thank you, and thank you for that nice comment. I appreciate that. And going up, Erica, of course. Erica's in the house, both figuratively and literally. Mr. Stockstill, how are you? Oh, man, I've been meaning to catch up with you. I just got back from Pennsylvania, but let's try to catch up either over the weekend or at the beginning of the week. I definitely want to see how things are going for you. If you guys are taking advantage of our little project. I'm really excited about that. It is really helping to make big savings. Again, lowering the effective rate on mortgages. In fact, let me see if I can do this. And this information that I was sharing today about the lowering their refinancing costs is big news. Let's see here. That was Bank Rate Monitor, the article. I'm going to save that for later. Pending home sales bounce back. Fannie Mae. And welcome back. For those of you just joining us, or if you joined us a few minutes ago, you're listening to The Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 program about real estate, America's longest running daily radio show about real estate. Had a really cool meeting this morning. I was on with our Rockstar team that we have been forming. And we were talking about consistency and good habits. And it's funny how this radio show came up as an example to our team of, talk about consistency. This radio show, 22 plus years of 5 days a week, never missed a day. We've run a couple of recordings, but the show has never skipped a beat during good times, during bad times, during tumultuous times, up cycles, down cycles, the Great Recession, and even the great pandemic of 2020. The radio show here has been what it's designed to be, as a beacon of light, a guidepost, a guide rail for real estate investors and homeowners alike. And hopefully you'll share this radio show so that more people have access to free, quality, great information. If you were to look back, I mean, we've talked about everything from investing in real estate, why real estate is a great investment, all sorts of economic aspects of real estate, buying, selling, inventory, interest rates, every single type of mortgage that has ever existed during the last 22 years. We've gone deep and dark into the mortgages, the good, the bad, the ugly of the different kinds, always trying to bring to you access to some of the best stuff that's out there also, without having to pay all these heavy course fees just to learn all this stuff about real estate. You could be building your own portfolio. Now, next week, I got a really cool guest coming on the radio show on Monday. And we're going to talk about how to use real estate and some very specialized financial tools that the wealthy know about this. The wealthy use this all the time, but probably not shared as often as it should be in the general public. And we're going to talk about how to not only build a real estate portfolio, but then build it into being your own bank. And in fact, one of the cool things that I'm going to show you a way that you can actually imagine being able to use the same dollar twice, right? To be able to use the same dollar twice, to double the purchasing power of your dollar, because you actually could own two assets with the same $1. We're going to talk about that starting on Monday. So you definitely don't want to miss our show on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week. We're definitely going to hit that concept, because I think as now the outlook for the marketplace is pretty solid. Real estate is going to be solid in spite of the lifting of the moratoriums, and in spite of the fact there will be a short-term spike in foreclosures, because there are a lot of pent-up folks that some, believe it or not, were going into hardship in the strongest economy that we had right before the pandemic. They were, because it doesn't matter. In good times or bad times, there's always people who are dying, getting sick, divorcing, businesses that just don't work out. And there's bankruptcies and there's hardship that happens even in the best of the economies. And they were literally saved by the bell on March 11th, when they were probably, as long as the banks didn't have their final judgment. And in fact, even if they had their final judgment, now, for example, there's a great example. If the bank already had its final judgment on March, and let's say they got their final judgment on March 1st. And so the next step is to 30 days from there, they go to the auction steps, on the courthouse steps. And then they declare a moratorium on foreclosures on March 11th, 2020. And that person who now already lost the lawsuit, was nothing stopping the auction from happening in the next 30 days, as the court normally designates. And yet now they have lived in that home for another year and a half, probably rent free. And but as soon as they lift those moratoriums, what do you think the bank is going to do? It's going to go right to the front of the line. And so this is the time. If you're in any situation, whether it's a good situation, whether it's a bad situation, text the word LOAN, LOAN, to 561-861-2366. Well, the music is coming in. That means I'm on my way out. It's time for the weekend. TGIF is in fact now in effect. And I will be back here, same place, same time on Monday. Don't forget about our Sunday night marathon at 9 p.m. You can hear the rebroadcast of all of our week's show back to back right here where you're listening to us. So until our next live show on Monday, live at 5, this is your host, Eric Willner, signing off. Remember, drive safe, wash those hands, and make it a great day. Bye-bye. And that is it for today. So thanks for joining us in. And like I said, Earl, you and I definitely want to catch up. And all right, my friend, thank you. Have a great weekend. That's 888-595-7779. And it was a great week. I will tell you that even though I say, thank God it's finished, it is, thank God it was fabulous too. So anyway, to all of you out there, have a great weekend. I will see you. Remember to give us a like, share our show here on the Facebook for those of you watching us, and I'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye. Let's wrap that up. Look at that. That's right on time. The next call coming in.